Great, Steve. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good.
I'm doing great.
I'm going to let Cam bring up the screens because the important part of our presentation today is how to trade with Nadex and the binary options, which Cam is one of our very honored and pleased to be associated with Cam, who has been, I guess, with Nadex for working with Nadex for quite a few years. He's written over 100 articles for the Nadex people. So what we're going to be doing is taking the concept of candlestick analysis, which through the years I've discovered is probably the most accurate assessment of which direction a price is moving. And okay, yeah, Cam will be showing charts. Dan was saying that you wanted to keep your trading very simple. And my candlestick charts are as simple as you can get. The most important factor as far as detecting which direction a price is moving is based upon the most accurate indicator in the world, and that is human nature. And we put on some confirming indicators that enhance the probabilities of being in the right direction at the right time. Our number one indicator is that what we call the T-Line, the 8 exponential moving average. And I have a very simple concept or description of candlesticks and the T-Line. The T-Line acts like a Fibonacci retracement, or has Fibonacci characteristics. It acts like a natural support and resistance level of human nature. The candlestick signals themselves are the graphic depiction of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. And so that basically is giving you a graphic depiction of investor sentiment. So when you combine that graphic depiction of investor sentiment and apply the T-Line, which is a natural support and resistance level of human nature, you've got an extremely powerful combination of what price moves are going to be doing. With that, you can analyze, and I always use as an illustration that people say, well, what markets can you trade with it? You can trade stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, tulip bulbs, anything that has fear and greed in it. So with that concept, there's a lot of people that like to trade in all time frames, and the candlestick signals being the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. The time frames or the charts work just as effectively on a 1-minute chart, 10-minute chart, 60-minute chart as they do a daily, weekly, or monthly. So Cam and I have kind of put together a combination of using candlestick signals and the advantages of binary options, where a lot of people like to day trade, a lot of people like to swing trade, but a lot of trading entities have the problem of the bid-ask spread and then having to meet the criteria of recovering your cost of a trade. With binary options, as Cam will be demonstrating, is an easy way to use the directional move of a candlestick chart and take advantage of that profitability. So with that, I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to let Cam come on and show how that combination works very effectively.
Okay, so Stephen, based upon your introduction, taking a look at today's markets, what's jumping out at you?
We saw that gold has started to back off. And it had kind of a reversal signal over the last couple of days. So I would probably be more oriented toward the downside right now with gold.
Okay. What about the U.S. equity indices? The Dow, the S&P, Russell, NASDAQ?
They are all in what I would call a waffling stage or a consolidation stage. So there's not any major direction or any powerful direction. However, there's a very simple trading strategy when it comes to the T-line, which is if you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T-line, you can stay long until you see a candlestick sell signal and a close back below the T-line. Currently, we kind of projected over the last couple of days there's going to be some more consolidation, which obviously we saw early this morning where the markets opened much slower, but they're trading back up above the T-line, which even though there's a little bit of weakness in the markets, the fact that we're trading back up above the T-line, if it can't close below the T-line, the assumption is we're still in an uptrend. Right now, the uptrend of the market indexes is slow and lethargic, but that provides the opportunities to make some good trades in specific stocks or sectors.
Okay. And last night we took a look at the US dollar versus the Swiss franc. It had been on an extended downtrend, but it closed above the T-line, indicating potential bullish sentiment. Are we still bullish there, or would you hold off?
Darn, I don't have that chart up right now.
I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Okay. So first, a little bit about myself. I'm Cam White. And back in the late 1990s, I traded stocks. I had some money and I found out I was pretty good at it. And I had a nice run for about 5 years until actually 9/11. And when all of a sudden all my little trading plans went out the window and I got tired of trading stocks. 1999, 1998, I had a fun run just selling stocks. Didn't know what I was doing. But I would just take a look at range-bound trades. I'll give you an example. Way back in the day, Southwest Airlines traded in a range between $13 a share and $16 a share. Whenever it went down to 13 a share, I'd buy a few thousand shares. When it got to 16, I'd sell it. And I used to love flying Southwest Airlines. And I was talking with a flight attendant one day, and I mentioned that I was a stockholder. And she said, well, gosh, we love our stockholders. I said, well, I'm not a really loyal stockholder. Whenever it gets to 13, I buy it. Whenever it gets to 16, I sell it. And she said, yeah, you and everyone else that works at Southwest. So anyway, I had a fun run with stocks, but after 9/11 and the market tank, and, my formula just went out and I just got kind of soured on it. In 2014, I joined an organization, a company called Trading Pub. And one of their biggest clients was Nadex, and I was assigned to become the Nadex ambassador. So I dove into the platform and, looked at it from every different perspective and just fell in love with it. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But since then, I've written, gosh, who knows, about 150 articles for Nadex on their website. I have some material archived, I believe. Benzinga. And other bar charts. I had all kinds of writing assignments, and I would take a look at the markets and how to apply Nadex toward the markets. I've worked in my relationship with Trading Pub and their parent company. I've worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of trading educators, and one of the trading educators whose methodologies I was most drawn toward was Stephen Bigalow. Used to talking about the T-line and the few simple indicators that he uses, it just makes sense to me. I can see the markets. There's not any noise. So for me, it's where I like to trade. I can see what's going on. And now I'm going to make a reminder. All day long, we're going to be talking, you're going to be listening to some of the best Nadex trading educators that are out there. And if you've never traded Nadex before, just go ahead and get your free Nadex demo account. Super easy to set up. I mean, like in a couple of minutes, you'll be set up. You'll have access to the entire Nadex trading platform. Your account will be funded with $10,000 in play money, so you can practice or apply the strategies you're going to learn today or your own on multiple markets. And if you decide, hey, this is pretty interesting, I like the way how to trade with Nadex, you can fund an account for as little as $250. Nadex is CFTC regulated. Your funds are held in a segregated U.S. bank account, super easy to make deposits and just as easy to make withdrawals. So go ahead and get your free Nadex demo account. So the key things I like about Nadex is risk management. Before you place a trade, you always know your maximum exposure to risk. There's no surprises. So if you go into a trade and it says your maximum risk on this trade is $50, your maximum reward is $50, and the market goes against you hard because of an FOMC announcement or a crazy tweet or whatever, you are only responsible for the $50 that you knew you were going to have as a maximum risk. It's CFTC regulated. This is a regulated exchange. Your funds, again, are in U.S. banks, easy to enter and exit trades, and there's no pattern or day trade rules. If you trade stocks or options and you open and close more than 3 trades during a week, you can be flagged as a pattern day trader. And when that happens, to be able to trade along those guidelines, you have to have at least $25,000 in your account. That's not the case with Nadex. You can make as many trades as you want as long as you have money in your account to cover the risk. It's an excellent platform in volatile markets. Once again, these markets can spike high, they can drop low, but there's always a hard cap on your risk, and you know it in advance before you make your trade. Okay, so trading Nadex, there's several ways to trade Nadex. Today I'm going to talk about binary options, and these are just, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. You've taken a look at your chart. Stephen today made an observation that he's bearish on gold. So today I'm going to, in the live markets, I'll talk about being bearish on gold. But on Monday, I was bullish on gold. And so, so having a bullish bias, the second thing you're going to do is go, well, what do I want to trade? And you find a price level in the market you want to trade from. And I'm just going to say that, hey, I think gold is going to close above 1990 when the pits close at 1:30 Eastern time. And then I place the trade. That's all there is to it. So it's identify your bias, identify where you want to trade from, place it. And after that, you're in the trade. What's really important, though, is each of these Nadex trades have an expiration on it. In the case of the gold example, I said 1:30 at the end of the day. It could be the end of the week. It could be the end of the hour. You get to choose what expiration you want. But once you're in a trade, you're not married to it. If that trade is moving against you, you can choose to exit and minimize your losses. Conversely, if you're way into profit and you've got most of the maximum profit you're going to make, you can get out of that trade and lock in the profit that you made. So here's a visual example of Monday. So gold was on an uptrend. You see these 3 big bullish candles here. This is a 15-minute chart. On the upper left-hand corner, you can see this trade's going to expire in 3 hours and 7 minutes. Now, my proposition was, you see this little line right across here at 1990? The proposition was, will gold finish higher than this line at 1:30 p.m.? At this time, it was 10:30 in the morning. So I've got, 3 hours left, roughly. Will it go above there? My opinion at that point in time was yes. I think the gold is going to settle above this line by 1:30 in the afternoon. So then it's just a matter of placing your trade. So I'm going to go to the next slide. And this screen, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. First thing I wanted to do is make sure I'm going to place a limit order as opposed to a market order. A market order gets me at the price where the market currently is. A limit order allows me to set my price. At that time, the price that I wanted in step 2 was $50 per contract. And I was going to do 1 contract. Now, Nadex trades are bundled in $100 increments. So when I bought this for $50, my maximum risk or my maximum potential loss was $50. Somebody had to be on the other side of that trade, and their exposure to risk was also 50. 50 plus 50 equals $100. So this is what happens. As soon as I place that order, my risk, $50, is withdrawn from my account or withheld from my account. And at 1:30, when that trade expires, one of two things is going to happen. I'm right that gold went above 1990 and I'm going to collect $100. Or I'm wrong. It didn't stay above that line. Let me go back to that previous slide. Or I'm wrong. So I'm either right and above this line and I collect $100, or I'm wrong and I'm below this line and I collect $0. Which is interesting, but that's $100. I didn't have to move 100 ticks up points up here to collect $100. All I had to do was make it above that line. So if it was just one tick over that line, I'm making $100. If it's at or below, then I wasn't right, and I collect $0. So that's Nadex binary options in a nutshell. You determine your opinion on where you think a market's going to go, and then you buy relative to a set strike price. We see 3 on the screen here. So I can say this one down here, if I bought it where it says 89.75, well, if I bought from this particular strike price, the marketplace is so far in the good that my risk would be almost $90 to make $10. For me, I'm not that crazy about that. If I thought this market was going to skyrocket and I went to this price level up here by 1:30, my risk would be $13 to make $86.50. That might not be realistic. It could be, but for me, I was happy right here at this level, and I wound up getting it at $50. Okay, so what happened with that trade? I bought it down here when it was when we were right below the line, and it took off. So within a matter of like 7 or 8 minutes, all of a sudden, I'm up $33 in profit out of a $50 max profit. And at that point, I've got 2 hours and 56 minutes left in this trade. Gold is volatile. We're in volatile markets. I've got most of the profit taken off this trade. And actually, it went up to $42. And I said, okay, this is it. I exited the trade with a few hours left. So you're not married to the trade. And in this particular example, I took most of the profit off the bone, got in and out of a trade quickly. I had defined risk. So if this thing whipsawed down on me, the most I could have lost on this trade was 50. Instead, I made 42. Okay, so enough of the hypotheticals, enough about Monday's examples. What I'm going to do now is take a look at a couple more slides, and then we're going to go live into Nadex, because I want to make sure you have time. It's about 25 after the hour right now. I'm going to go to about 9:45 to about 10 to allow plenty of time for questions. So Steve mentioned today that the E-mini S&P futures, the S&P 500 and the major U.S. equity industries were waffling. You have multiple dojis up here at the top of the this chart, and it's just showing indecisiveness. We're in overbought territory, and and the markets last night pretty much closed right at the T-line. Once they break through the T-line, if they do, it could be an indication that further selling is going to happen, and there could be, at least for the short run, a reversal in investor sentiment and some profit taking happening. So I'm not crazy about the S&P 500. For that matter, today, I'm not really crazy about any of the markets. I'm seeing a lot of indecision. Gold yesterday broke below the T-line. That indicates bearish sentiment, and Stephen was talking about that. So I'm going to look at gold in Nadex and see what's happening. Look for a bearish opportunity. And while I'm not crazy about trading the markets today, I am going to take a trade in there just to show you how trades are executed in Nadex so you can see it live, and so you can practice it in your own demo account. And finally, what do we have here? Oh, this is the dollar Swiss franc. And in this particular example, the market closed above the T-line after an extended downward run. These are daily charts. And so it closed above. That indicates that this is potentially bullish. It's retraced back to the T-line, but if this market has the opportunity to come back up, possibly up to this gray line, which is the 50 moving average. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to get out and go straight to Nadex. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart. I'm going to move down to, Stephen was bearish on gold, so I'm going to move to a 15-minute chart and see what the charts are telling me. And then I'm going to explain the real estate of Nadex chart right now. So in the upper left-hand corner, we've got the instrument, and this is gold expiring when the pits close. It's going to expire in 2 hours and 3 minutes. So this trade will be over. And Stephen, our bias was bearish today. So this is a demo account. You get funded with $10,000 in play money. So what I'm going to do is hunt for a strike price that is bearish. And from every strike price, we have, let's see, if I'm bearish, let's say this strike price right here, it's going to show me that if I'm selling this particular proposition, I believe that the market is going to drop below this line. My risk would be, it says 78, so this works in reverse. I'm risking about $22 to make $78. So this assumption in the marketplace of buyers and sellers, most of the people on the other side of this trade are bullish right now. They don't believe this marketplace has the ability to reverse. And we are 2 hours and 2 minutes away from this. So I'm going to go to a smaller time frame just to see what's happening. I'm sorry, you're kind of getting to see the way my little busy brain works. We are still grinding upwards on the 1 minute charts. As soon as I see a reversal in this pattern, I might be interested in this strike price. Or if it goes above, it continues to chug to the next strike price, and I can get it at even money, 50 to risk 50 or better, I might look at that. So, but for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and take this trade because we don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm going to click on this, and if I take a market order, I'm going to be right in the trade, and I'm in. So the bid-ask spread is about $6, and right now I am down $5 on this. Now, if this market continues to chug north, then I'm going to be incurring more losses for the meantime. My risk, I bought it at I bought it at $79.25, which means my risk is $20.75 to make $79 per contract. So that's not bad. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of risk tied up in this trade. If I believe, and my assumption is that within the next 2 hours that my bearish sentiment was correct, then this trade could actually wind up being pretty good for me. So let's let that one percolate. I'll take a look at a couple other markets. So binary options, when I place a trade in the upper left-hand corner, this shows me the markets that are available under binary options. U.S. equity indices. Oh, actually, there's global ones too, the DAX and FTSE, and several other ones, but we're interested in the U.S. one. So this is the S&P 500. I also have commodities. I've got crude oil, gold, natural gas, and silver that I can trade. For our purposes, we look at crude oil and gold and popular Forex pairs. And once again, for our purposes, we like the euro dollar, the pound dollar, the pound franc, and the pound yen. So there are 10 instruments that we track every night. And when we can find a really good directional bias on something, we're going to make a call on it. And that's the service that we're offering at the Candlestick Forum. It's called Nadex Alerts. Okay, going back to our trade, we're on the 1 minute charts. We're in a little area of choppiness, indecision, consolidation. If this thing turns over on us and comes down, then this red block is going to start to turn blue on me. It's going to show various levels of profit. So again, I've got 1 hour and 59 minutes left in this trade. I'm waiting for this thing to come down below this level right here. If it closes just one tick under this level, then I'm going to collect $79.25. If it remains above this line, then I lose the $20 that I risked. Binary options, simple as 1, 2, 3. It's basically making an opinion about where the market is relative to a price point within a defined period of time. Now, this particular example expires at the end of the day. I could have chosen a contract that would expire. Let me go back to binary options and gold. I could have said, I'm not going to wait to the end of the day. I'm bearish or bullish the market expiring at noon. And this particular trade has 28 minutes left in it. So that trade is 28 minutes left in it, and it's not really looking all that good right now. I wouldn't be interested in this trade, but you could trade it at the end of the hour, at the end of the day, at the end of the week. It all depends on how you like to trade, what your trading personality is. So if you want to get in and out quick, maybe it's an intraday thing. Maybe it's a trade that ends at the end of the hour, or it could be the end of the day. I'm more of a daily person and sometimes a weekly person. So if you were looking at the indices, we go back to the S&P 500. Okay, this is S&P 500, and I'm going to go on the daily charts. So click up here and go from 1 minute to daily. Each one of these candles represents a day of activity. Look at all these green areas. So if you came in at the opening bell and you were long every day and found the strike price near the bottom of that candle at the beginning of the day, you'd have a pretty good run. A couple of trades that would work against you, but that's a nice way to manage your day. And you can get in and out of it quickly. So that could be the advantage of a daily expiration. It can also set your bias on a daily chart for what you think the market's going to do for the end of the week. If this market is riding above the T-line, it's got a good slope, there's nothing getting in the way of it, then you could say, hey, I think on a Monday morning, I think the S&P is going to finish above where we are the Monday morning on Friday. And to me, that's a relatively stress-free trade. With the security of knowing that every trade that you make, your risk is completely known in advance. And are there any questions coming in from the Q&A panel that I need to know about?
Yeah. Hey, Cam. Yeah, there are several questions that have come in. You want me to shoot those over to you now? No, actually, I can actually see one from Gerald. Says, if you use up all the play money in demo due to losses, does Nadex replenish the play money? That's going to be an answer for Dan Cook, but they want you to learn their program, their platform. So my personal advice on Nadex demo accounts is treat it like it's your money and apply risk management. But if you
if you need to replenish your funds, I'm sure the Nadex customer support can help you. By the way, when you call Nadex, you actually get a live person on the phone, and I found them to be very, very helpful. Keith says, why is the max loss showing $10 more than what's equal to 100? I'm not sure I understand that question, but in every trade that you place, you're going to have what your maximum risk is and your maximum reward is will always equal $100 per contract traded. Oleg, is Nadex available for U.S. residents or for Canadians as well? It is currently not available in Canada. It was for a while, and then I believe in 2016 there was some issue with the government of Canada, and Nadex is currently not available on that exchange. I had to ping Dan Cook about that yesterday to see whether there was any resolution in that matter. So I'm going to go back to this gold trade that we placed and see where we are with it. I'm going to move back down to a 15-minute chart. Okay, it's continuing to ride bullish, and it's moved $13 against me. And so I'm just going to show you how easy it is to get out of this trade. Let's just assume that, this thing is moving against our instincts. We actually have an hour and 50 minutes. There's plenty of time for this trade to turn around, but all I have to do is click on that instrument and place order, and I'm out. So I lost $14 on that one. No harm, no foul. It was a minor loss in the grand scheme of things. But today was a day, in terms of our trading service, that I probably wouldn't be making any calls at all. I was not really excited about the direction of any of the markets. As we talked about the indices, that they were waffling. Gold, let's see. I was kind of bullish on the dollar franc. Let's see where that market is. Binary options, Forex, dollar franc. I'm going to go for a daily expiration at 3 p.m. and see. Now it's back. It closed above the T-line, and it's resumed its move to the downside. So today would have just been a day just to sit on the sidelines. But either way, I just wanted to show you the flexibility you have making trades, and this is just super easy. And the best way to find that out is to download a Nadex demo account and just dive in and take a look at a market. Take a look at the slope of that trade. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Apply some of Stephen's indicators on it, the T-line, which is super easy to plot all the indicators on here. You don't have to be technical at all. It's you just go to the indicator chart and exponential moving average. I check that off. Put the T-line as the 8 EMA, and I also plot the 3 EMA. Other moving averages, the 50, the 200, stochastics, and voila, everything is plotted in here. And so Michael's saying, look at the U.S. CAD now. Is the T-line different from VWAP? Yeah, it's the 8 exponential moving average. Keith asked whether we had specific alerts today on the Nadex service. No, I talked with Stephen last night about the program, and today was not a good day. As a general rule in our Nadex service, I'm going to put out 2 to 5 alerts a week, and we're going to have a private chat room. So I'm going to monitor. We're going to email out the alerts. And then every morning I'm going to drop in the chat room. We'll just take a look at where we are. If a trade is continuing to look good, and it's doing everything we wanted it to do, then we may make a comment about that. If the market is reversing and going against us, then you want to consider getting out of the trade. Michael saying, take a look at the US Canadian dollar now. That's an instrument you can trade on Nadex. Yeah, I mean, look at that slope. That thing is tanking. So, I mean, I would be definitely a bear right now. I chose an expiration at 3 p.m. U.S. time, which is 3 hours and 16 minutes from now. So my proposition might well be, it's coming down into the 200-day moving average, but it's, you know, if it breaks through there, then this strike price here at $63 is not looking bad. Kim says, how you save your chart in Nadex to bring it up again with all your indicators. Once you set your indicators in Nadex, they'll remain there until you decide you want to use a different set of indicators. And they have a bunch of them in there. I haven't explored them all. By the way, this is a new interface for Nadex, and I really like it. I like the way the real estate is organized for the desktop. It's also, you can also trade on your mobile device. And really, we have the US dollar thing, the US Canadian dollar trade here. So in the right-hand corner, in the right-hand corner here, it's again, a statement on any one of these. If I click right here, will the US CAD finish higher than 13180? Yes or no? I found it really easy to navigate. It may look a little intimidating right now, but everything you need is right there. You know your maximum risk, you know your maximum reward on any particular trade. You can place a market order, which is right now into a market, or you can place a limit order where you set your own price, like I want to make it $50 per trade, in which case I'm going to risk 50 to make 50. If it's $60 on this sell proposition, or $62, because I fat fingered, my maximum loss is 38 to make 62. It's a better risk reward. It also means the trade is, you know, a little riskier. But super easy to use. And once you get a few trades going in the demo platform, and you really take it seriously, you'll understand that your risk is always being managed. You can get in of trades, you can get out of trades, just as I've done. And you know, for me, it allows me to trade stress-free. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly how I want this trade to run. And in our trade service, Nadex Alerts with the Candlestick forum, you're going to get from us calls on our opinion about the directional movement of several instruments a week. And you know, with that information, bullish or bearish, you can make your own decision about. I mean, everyone has a different way of trading. We're just setting the conversation about where we believe, using candlestick analysis, the T-line, where a market is likely headed. Okay, I'm going to go back to questions and answers. Michael says, how can I use these indicators on this pair? Well, if you're talking about the US CAD, you would just plot the 8 EMA, the 3 EMA, the 50 and the 200 simple moving averages, and stochastics sit at 12.33. And Nikki and Pat, can you guys put up the link for the downloading the free Nadex?
Yes, Ron. The guys will put that in the chat box for everyone.
Okay, good.
So did we have any chart requests? We have a few minutes. If you want to ask Steve and Cam to review a chart, now's the time. Just drop it in chat.
Yeah, unfortunately, today we really didn't find anything that was powerfully compelling.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that really excited me.
Right. Gold was trading lower, but it bounced right off the 34 EMA, which is just a secondary support and resistance level, and started trading up. So even though it's kind of in a downtrend, it was trading positive. I'm trying to see. In crude oil, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but crude oil has been pretty much in a sideways mode now for the last 2 months in around the $42 to $43 range. So it hasn't been real exciting to trade.
Stephen, so there was a question from one of our attendees. How is trading the T-line different from VWAP?
I don't even know what the VWAP is.
I think it's musical. Volume weighted average price, I believe it's what it stands for.
Oh,
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I started using the T-line probably 15 years ago. And the nice thing about candlestick charts is the charts themselves, the signals themselves are extremely accurate, or we wouldn't be looking at them hundreds of years later after the Japanese race traders had introduced them to the trading world. Now, when you add the T-line, it's something where you don't have to take anybody's word for it. I just suggest to people, put the 8 exponential moving average on your chart and see how accurate it works, whether you're trading off a 1-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 10-minute chart, or a daily, weekly, or monthly, how accurate it is when you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T-line. And what you will find is that when a trend is moving, it is surprising how often a trend will come right back to the T-line and bounce back up. Now that is relevant because nobody has the T-line or the 8 exponential on their charts, or statistically not enough people to say anybody uses it. So try it out. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to add it onto your chart and then see how effective it works. But if you're look at the Canadian dollar chart. Up there at the very top, there was a hanging man signal. Hanging man doji, yes. And then the next candle closed back down below the T-line. And from that point, you could pretty much stay short as long as it didn't close back up above the T-line. Now, at the latest candle, there's another criteria about the T-line. And it's very simple. The further away you move from the T-line, the higher the probability it's going to come back up and test it. That becomes an alert that the prices move too far, too fast, and human nature is they're going to start taking profits in the other direction. So
one of the things I've also noticed is the relationship of the 3 EMA to the 8 EMA. And whenever the 3 gaps significantly away from the 8, it usually does a snapback or a mean reversion.
Right. So if you saw that hanging man doji at the top and it closed back below the 3 T-line, that was a high probability that it was going to come back and test the T-line. Then if it fails the T-line, you know you're still in a good, strong downtrend, and looks like they're even trading it lower. But I would, at this point, I would have a safety stop at the open of the last candle on this chart, because logic says with stochastics in the oversold area and you're that far away from the T-line, if they came back up through the open of that last candle, you're producing another candlestick reversal signal or a hammer signal, and that's time to start taking profits.
Which there was another question, Stephen. How do you use stochastics in this style of trading?
Stochastics is just used to tell us where we are in the overall trend. Now, obviously, when you're in the oversold area, you're probably going to be a little bit more diligent as far as watching to see if there's going to be a reversal. So, and there's very simple logic. Everything that's built into candlestick analysis is just common sense. When I was learning candlesticks, every time I learned something new, I would say to myself, yeah, that makes sense. I've just never seen it in a graphic depiction before. So logic says, if you see a candlestick buy signal in the overbought condition, it doesn't mean very much. If you see a candlestick sell signal in the oversold area, it doesn't mean very much. It's not a signal. It's when you see a candlestick buy signal in the oversold area that the probabilities now have gone dramatically to where they're going to start trading it up. Or if you see a candlestick sell signal in the overbought area, the probabilities are telling you've got a high probability you're heading down.
And what kind of probabilities of success do you see with your methodology?
That I can't put a statistic on as far as a quantified statistic. I would, through the years, and I guess it's getting to be way too many years, say that 70% of my trades are profitable. Now, that might mean it's profitable by 0.3% or 300%. But there's another very common sense aspect to candlesticks is it used to be that I thought, man, if I could hit 70% of my trades, I'm going to make a fortune. But the nice thing about candlestick analysis is that other 30%. It allows you to see when a trade is not working. So you can use all that old sage advice that you cut your losses short and let your profits run. Mm-hmm. The candlestick signals will tell you exactly when a reversal signal is not reversing. You want to be right back out of that trade.
Right. There was a question about the colors of the different lines. Okay, these are just colors that I like to plot, but the big fat red line is a 200 simple moving average. The green one is a 3 EMA. The purple line is the T-line, and the gray line is the 50 moving average. And then below we have the stochastic oscillators, and the settings on that is 12-3-3. So Michael says, Stephen, on the US CAD, let me make a quick announcement. We're going to be posting at the end of this thing. This is a brand new service, Nadex Alerts, that we're doing with the Candlestick Forum. I'll be running the room. There's a 30-day free trial. And so Nikki and Pat will be putting that up. So you want to sign up for that, get your Nadex demo account. If you're already an Nadex trader, you know what to do. But we're going to be using candlestick signals in the T-line to take a look at the markets on a daily basis, and I'll be making calls in there, following up on trades that.
We'll have everyone, we'll put the link in chat. I think at the end of your deck, there is a slide that'll show that information too, because we're just about to where Raleigh's going to take over. We've got some quizzes coming up.
Okay,
so, all right, there we go. We are seeing it, so we're good there. And our moderators are going to drop the link in the chat box for you as well. So that'll help quite a bit. Anything final before Raleigh takes over?
You know, it's interesting. I was also noting some of the questions that have come in here. We've got just a few more minutes, Cam. Some of these are just general in nature as it relates to Nadex. But one question that was interesting here is, when you're trading the markets, do you just use the Nadex chart? Does that give you everything you need, or do you require another chart to analyze the markets, and then you go over to the Nadex chart to actually place the trade?
That's a great question. What the charts that I like to use, I've got Thinkorswim, and I also use TradingView, and so on I use Thinkorswim to sort of just to dial down to the to fine tuning my entries. I just like the way my charts are set up, and it's just the way I am. TradingView I use for the daily charts, and I have all of the indicators set up there, and I just go through my little watch list and click on each one of the markets, see where they are, and then I'll shoot them over to Stephen on, I'm kind of bullish on these markets, I'm bearish on these markets, neutral on these. What are your thoughts? And Stephen will echo his sentiments back to me and goes, hey, the top 3 winners are going to be these 2 or 3 things. Going back to your charting thing, you know, it's really whatever you're the most comfortable with, and you can also do it inside Nadex and not have to rely on another charting platform.
So another way to put it, it really is kind of like a trading platform that has a chart associated with it to help you visually decide what's the best potential entry for you. Now, is there any fee for that, Cam? I mean, is it live streaming data? Everything is there?
It's the Nadex. Are you talking the Nadex charts?
Yeah, the Nadex charts. Yep.
Yeah, it's just part of the platform. When you download your when you get your free demo, you're going to get the feed on all the markets supported within Nadex.
All right, great. Well, listen, Cam, thank you so much for that presentation. Steve, thank you very much for your time as well. It's exciting to see that we've got, you know, the methodology that Steve represents and has, taught so many traders to use, and how those indicators can be used to trigger potential trades on the Nadex platform. And I think it was fantastic for you to share that.